Imagine this. You walk into a classroom not to memorize formulas or take notes for an exam, but to solve real world problems, to design your own ideas, and to create something that matters. What if education was not just about learning, but about building innovators and entrepreneurs? The question became the spark that ignited the SNS blueprint. A new way of thinking about learning where every student becomes a creator. Every idea becomes an opportunity, and every classroom becomes a launchpad. Let's pause for a moment and think about our own journeys. How much of what we studied in school truly prepared us for life beyond it? Think for a while. There has always been this invisible gap between what we learn and what the world actually needs. The SNS blueprint was born to bridge the gap, to transform education from a system of instruction into a system of creation. Not just to teach students, but to transform them into thinkers, builders, and leaders. Every great creation starts with a solid foundation. The SNS foundation is design thinking, a human centered approach that starts not with technology or theory, but with empathy, with understanding real people and their needs. When a student begins with empathy, something magical happens. Problems becomes opportunities and innovation becomes natural. At SNS, students don't just think products, they design solution that matters. That's how the foundation for true innovation is laid. But even a strong foundation needs the right environment to grow. That's where the 3P culture comes in: purpose, process, and people. Purpose gives direction, the why behind everything. Process gives structure, the how that makes ideas actionable. People give life, the who that makes innovation real. At SNS, this 3P culture creates a space where ideas don't just exist, they evolve. Where innovation is not an accident, it's inevitable. Of course, innovation needs a structure, a framework that channels creativity into action. At SNS, this is built on five strong pillars. That's nothing but CLT, CFC, SCD, IIPC, and SRI. These pillars support students from every angle: mind, skill, and soul. And holding them together is called as spine, a management system built on clear objectives, smart goals, and even gamification to make progress fun. Because at SNS, structure is not about restriction, it's about focus. It ensures dreams turn into measurable impact. Now, let's talk about the heartbeat of the entire blueprint: innovation. Here's innovation is not just an idea, it's a process. Now imagine adding a superpower to the system that is nothing but artificial intelligence. At SNS, AI is not about replacing humans, it's about amplifying them. AI personalizes learning, helps students identify emerging problems, and connects ideas with opportunities across industries. It's like having a digital mentor that guides, supports, and accelerates growth. Here's technology does not take over, it teams up with humans to multiply impact. All of these building blocks lead to one percent, that is nothing but excellence. But for SNS, excellence is not just about being the best. It's about doing the best work that lasts. That means quality in every step, impact that can be measured, sustainability that endures over time. So, what's the grand vision behind all this? It's bold. 1,000 AI startups in the next 10 years. But this is not just a number. It's a mission to transform education into entrepreneurship, learning into launching, and classroom into companies. Every student become not just a learner but a founder in the making. That's how SNS is turning education into an engine of innovation for the future. And yes, it's already happening. Students have launched their own AI driven startups, field patents, and built solutions for real problems. One team used AI to help farmers predict crop health in rural villages. Another created a digital platform connecting skilled youth with industries in need. These are not just academic projects, they are real innovation changing lives. The blueprint works not just on paper, but in the world. Now, the question comes to you: how can you apply this? You don't need to start big. Start with one block, maybe begin with design thinking. Listen, empathize, and ideate. Build a 3P culture in your team or classroom. Start small, think big. Build your own blueprint for innovation. And so, here we are at the end of one story and the beginning of another. That is yours. The SNS blueprint shows what happens when education stops being about grades and starts being about growth. When the students stop memorizing and start making, when learning becomes living. So now the blueprint is in your hands. What will you build? Because the future it's not waiting. It's ready to be created. Thank you. Done by Malathi, Assistant Professor, Computer Applications, PG.